When I first got sick, I found myself resting for hours, sometimes even days, or at least what I felt it was a whole eternity, just there in the couch or in my bed, scrolling, watching some series and things like that. I was resting, but I was still crashing, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand what I was doing wrong. I was resting. Then, with the time, I realized my body was still, but my brain was still running. I already mentioned I was scrolling, I was still planning things and worrying a lot. I was, yeah, thinking a lot how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna keep up with my job, how I'm gonna keep up with life. And honestly, those days after the diagnosis and my intentional resting, I just found out that I was more drained than ever before. It wasn't just until I kind of tried something different, something that nowadays I call real or true brain rest. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if there is actually a name for it. When I started doing what I thought it was rest in my brain, sorry, um, I started noticing some changes. They were not so dramatic. They didn't happen overnight, um, but they were present enough for me to realize and to see and to feel that my crashes were starting to get less strong and less frequent. Sometimes I would just sit here by the window and look at something simple or just try to quiet for a moment. No phone, no planning, no nothing basically. Just here, quietness, stillness. And yeah, it is how I started to build some balance. So, first, I know a lot of people say that we shouldn't be drinking coffee, but come on, I have given up so many things. Give me the coffee at least. Now, um, eventually, I understood that sitting still is not the same than resting. For people like probably you and me with ME/CFS, or I dare to say that even with other chronic illness that also have as a symptom chronic fatigue, um, for us, resting is not just about stopping movement, stopping our lives. It's about reducing input. Now, hear me out. Of course, stopping our movement will help us, of course. But sometimes we forget that that is just one tiny part of all this resting world. Just think about it. Our brain uses a lot of energy, right? Um, Sometimes even more than our muscles. So for the brain, running a marathon or sitting 3 hours in a mathematics test doesn't have so much of a difference. The brain still need to work a lot to make our body move, or work a lot for us analyzing and resolving whatever problem you come across in that test. And this is a very silly example, but once I started thinking in those terms, it kind of clicked. um, Nowadays our brains doesn't get a break. Now, before I jump to my unsolicited advice, let me introduce myself. If you are new here, hello, my name is Amy Amaya, and I've been diagnosed with ME/CFS since January 2025. And I've been learning a lot of things. And in this channel, I'm just sharing what is working for me, I still believe that we can find balance. I have found it, that we can improve ourselves. I'm still improving and gaining more and more capacity, so there is hope. And very inside me, I still believe that there is a chance where this condition actually can go into remission. Now, for now, as any unsolicited advice, take what works for you and the rest, just let it pass. Welcome to my Chronicas. Here are a few things that actually help me to start giving my brain actual rest. Now, don't expect elaborated protocols. These things are very, very simple, and I came to them by intuition. So, intuition, my English, but you know what I mean. So, just try them. Don't close yourself before testing things. That is the very first thing. Now, the first thing I would advise you is to take time and focus in one visual anchor, one object. I normally like to do it here in this window or there in the office where I work from home when I do my little breaks. So I sit down, and I gaze through the window. I pick just one thing, one tree, one person, one stone, whatever I see, and I leave my eyes just to rest on this object. I don't analyze it. I stop thinking, planning, or whatever I'm doing. I'm just focusing and just enjoying the object. I don't find another way of describing it. I just enjoy it. I enjoy the color, the shape, and focus just on that. Why this works? When you focus in one object, you're just immediately reducing the input, right? A single still object is reducing immediately all those micro decisions that your brain needs to make when your eyes are screening images. Just think about it. Makes sense, right? The second thing I want you to try for yourself is to remove one layer of input when doing a chore. For example, I use it to clean the house with loud music. I love music. Or I use it to do my makeup while I have my tablet in, I don't know, whatever YouTube channel, or kind of watching series all at the same time. And that was kind of normal for me. I did enjoy it. I still do. But if you start thinking in the terms we're using in this video, just turning off that background noise immediately reduces the amount of input that you are giving to your brain. Does it make sense? When you are reducing the light coming from your screen when you are working, and that is something that I implemented recently, it also helps. The light is also input, sensory input, like the noise from the music and stuff like that. Each layer of input is adding cognitive load. Like, I don't know if you hear it, but there is a dog right now outside, and it's making me nervous. I'm not going to repeat this video again just because of that. And just removing even one single layer is, by mathematics, already lowering the input and the things your brain needs to analyze. Just try it. The third thing I would like you to test, is to start including micro rests along your schedule, your daily schedule. What I mean by that? Well, just start adding 2-3 minutes of real rest here and there during your day. These breaks actually interrupt the non-stop processing of your brain. I'm talking about the processing you are not 100% aware of, the things that your brain does in the background all the time. So 2 minutes is definitely enough to stop the buildup of mental fatigue before it actually turns into a crash. Now, the way I started was because with meditation, because the doctor that diagnosed me in the Charité here in Berlin, Germany, mentioned it and told me, try meditation. I always thought, I'm sorry for my ignorance, that meditation was just another woohoo trend. It was until that day when I was in front of my computer trying to work here at home. I still have a 9 to 5 job. I don't know if I already mentioned it. And I was like 40 minutes, 1 hour into my work, and I started shaking, feeling pain. Well, I was coming into a full crash. I said, okay, I'm going to try meditation. I didn't even know how to do it. I just scrolled on YouTube and looked for 1 or 2 videos. And long story short, I couldn't do it longer than 2 minutes. I found it boring. I found it unsettling. I couldn't sit still and do what the person was advising me to do during the session. However, I tried so hard to meditate that those 2 minutes calmed me down and helped me go through at least the first or during that morning, the first part of that day. I realized that after that very short session, the shaking stopped and the pain went away. Then I said, okay, this is working. Then I started doing it more and more intentional. Nowadays, I have 5-6 minutes blocked in my calendar, in my Outlook calendar, every 1 hour and a half, every 2 hours. Sometimes now I get to move them. Sometimes I go 3-4 hours without pausing, which is nothing I want you to do. But I'm just sharing it, just letting you know that I have built capacity. It has not been fast, but it has happened just by inserting this micro rest. Now, the micro rest might look different for you. I did it with meditation. Other people do it with this practice that I don't like, but Qigong, I hope I'm pronouncing that well. That is also something you can try. There are many different ways. The main thing here is just to build those micro rests with intention, and make sure that you're allowing your brain to really rest and calm down. And I have said the word rest way too many times during this video. I just want you to understand it, that just sitting in the couch and scrolling is not resting. I think you got it by now. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know, thank you. You made it till here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me. I would like to hear from you if you tested any of the things that I just mentioned, or if you have something additional that I should be testing. Just let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And let's start building a community where we actually find some balance, build some capacity, and maybe one day we will go into remission. Until then, see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.